Hello and welcome back to your weekly Albumholics podcast episode. My name is Aurelio, and I have an addiction to albums.
My name is also Andy. Yeah. Wow. Fuck that one up right out the gate. It's been a long day. My name is Andy. I also have an addiction, and let's cure it up right now. Who we got this week?
This week is a big band for me, at least.
Yeah.
I don't know how much for you, Andy, but
Nah, it's up there.
Metallica,
Ooh.
one of the biggest heavy metal bands in the world. I would
I'd say probably the biggest.
if not the biggest.
Yeah.
Yes. In terms of raw album sales, and definitely the biggest.
You know what Lars says. They sell out arenas every time they play.
They sure do. Jesus Christ, they do.
Anyway,
But yeah, should we get right into it?
off the bat of that, yeah, might as well. What an intro.
All right, well,
We're calling them sellouts before we even get to that album.
yeah, right. All right, well, Metallica with their first album here, Kill 'Em All, 1983.
Or as I like to call it, Dave wrote them all.
I like that. I like that. All right, Andy, what did you give Metallica's first album?
Oh, this is easily an S tier album. I mean, I don't think you're going to be surprised by me saying that.
Mm-hmm.
I love the speed, just the raw thrash. All the solos are great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some weaker songs here and there on there. I mean, I don't know, maybe not weaker, but it starts off strong with "Hit the Lights," which
Exactly.
was,
Yeah,
I mean, the first song they wrote as a band. I think, yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
'cause it was on that compilation album.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember James talking about how he responded to an ad in the newspaper
Yeah.
for a guy looking for a guitarist, and he gets there and it's Lars, and Lars has a drum set that's like 4 different colors and looks like it's put together from like
Makeshift.
the
like-
makeshift, and he's like, can this dude even drum?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Sure enough.
they get together,
Founding members of the band, James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich.
still in it today. I mean, yeah, it just kicks off right from there. Hit the Lights, the Four Horsemen,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't care, still better than Megadeth's version.
I would say it's a more well-written song overall, yes. But Megadeth's version is called The Mechanics, for anybody wondering.
Anesthesia Pulling Teeth is a great song right up until Lars starts playing. Whiplash is great. Phantom Lord is great. No Remorse. Seek and Destroy has been a staple for Metallica for years. And kind of a different metal militia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, this album just, if you're looking for like one of the best early thrash metal albums.
I would say probably the best early thrash metal, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But,
Yeah.
1983, that's essentially the birth. I mean, we had some heavy metal bands and some early fusion between,
Yeah, I mean,
heavy metal and punk rock, which is where thrash metal comes from.
yeah, I mean, especially for the American scene.
Yeah.
Like our last week's band, Sabotage, had an album out before this, but from the American side, you wouldn't have heard much like this yet.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason they are so popular. Came out of this.
Completely to change the scene.
Yeah, and they were so different from what California was putting out at the time, because the LA scene was huge
Mm-hmm.
this time.
Glam metal,
Yeah, glam metal.
Motley Crue, Def Leppard,
Yeah, and then you get the Bay Area sound, which is all thrash and all punk, and you get This Is the Best of Both Worlds, and that cites a bunch of good bands. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, this kicks off. I mean, yeah, just it kicks off this genre pretty much.
It really does.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a landmark album really for like thrash, as I keep saying.
Mm-hmm.
Would you give it?
Well, I also agree that this is an S tier album. And I agree with almost everything that you said. Like, when I listen to this album, it is just pure in your face, fast. It has some good rhythm to a lot of the songs. The groovy, you can listen to them. The lyrics are pretty good on a lot of the songs. It seems, when I listen to this album, the production value of it and just the quality of the songwriting, it doesn't feel like a debut album.
No, for sure.
Yeah. Like, it just feels so well done. Like, you can tell that they had a mission and their mission was to shove metal up your ass, which is actually a chant that they use at a lot of their shows. Metal up your ass. Which is exactly what they brought to the table. Hit the Lights, fast, crazy solos. Four Horsemen was really heavy, had those nice solos in it. Really groovy too at some times. Just every song, Motor Breath, Jump in the Fire, Anesthesia. Then it was Phantom Lord, No Remorse, Metal Militia, or Seek and Destroy, then Metal Militia. Metal Militia, I think, is my favorite song off that album. But, every song on here, I think, is killer. I love every song on this album.
Yeah, this album, it just influenced a bunch of people, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, most people in America, or like the American metal scene, hadn't seen anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you go to a lot of artists, and I'll say they're influenced to pick up a guitar at a young age.
Yeah.
So not everybody, but a lot of bigger name bands at the time.
Yeah, and exactly. That's one of the strong suits of Metallica was their guitars.
Yeah.
And that's what really got me into this band, when I was a lot younger. So, and Metallica to me will always be, a guitar band, a guitar metal band,
Definitely drumming.
They're not really known for the drums. They got some really good bass here and there, but during the early years.
Well, they're known for the drumming. It's just not the way you want to be known for your drumming.
Yeah. It's not in a positive light, but it's a discussion for later. But yeah, I think this was an amazing debut album, and I think it's probably my favorite Metallica album.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is the one album that I can listen to every song on here and I don't get tired. So that's why I would say it's my favorite Metallica album.
I could see that. And it's probably because Dave wrote a lot of the songs. To be honest here.
Yeah.
Look at the ones he wrote. Four Horsemen. Well, maybe not wrote all of them, but
contributed.
Four Horsemen, Jump in the Fire, Phantom Lord, Metal Militia. Your favorite song on this album was written by Dave.
Mm-hmm.
What's that say?
Yeah, that I and really like Dave Mustaine.
Your favorite song off the album, which is your favorite album by Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Dave carrying this. Just kidding.
I don't know. It's not to say that James and Kirk and Lars and all of them aren't good musicians or songwriters.
No, they're not.
But
it's not, we just
Dave definitely brings a certain style.
And you can tell it's so much different from
their later stuff.
He writes a few more songs, or at least one or two in the next album. But yeah, you can. Mm-hmm. The style he brings. I'm not saying Kirk's not a good guitarist either.
Mm-hmm.
But Dave's one of a kind.
Yeah.
So is Kirk technically, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. Brings a certain type of style to his music.
Yeah. Man, just is a certain kind of style. Anyways, enough about Dave. Kill 'Em All.
Mm-hmm.
Next album, 1984 is Ride the Lightning.
Ride the Lightning.
What did you think?
I gave this album an A. And the only reason why I didn't give it higher is because there were two songs on here that I was just kind of like meh.
Wonder what those could be.
Well, the first and the last song, Fight Fire with Fire. It's a good heavy thrash opening song. Definitely is, it fits in well with the Kill 'Em All era. And then the last song, Call of Cthulhu, is kind of It's an all instrumental and it's not bad. It's good, but it's very after the 3-minute mark, you're in for the next 5 minutes, and it just kind of gets really
because 8 minutes and 52 seconds. Although Dave did write on this song, so it should be great.
You would think.
I'm just
you would think, man. No.
You would think, but then you look at 5 of Megadeth's records, and you're like, ooh.
Right. So, but yeah, I thought this was a fantastic follow up, to Kill 'Em All. You can see the progression that this band went through during these next 5, actually through all their records. We've kind of mentioned it before with other bands. When you listen to their discography and they just kind of play the same thing the entire time.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't really feel like they've evolved. They've never tried nothing new or anything like that. I think Metallica, no album sounds the same.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. I'll touch on that later, but
in my opinion,
which is fair.
no album sounds the same. You know.
Okay. I mean, we'll touch on what I think. I think you're right. No album does sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, I'll get to that later, but
Okay.
we'll get to that at the end. Where I kind of disagree.
Okay.
With that.
All right.
But you are right in the fact that like when you listen to each album is going to sound a little different.
Mm-hmm. And I think that they progressed musically, songwritingly, you know, all that stuff just went up.
Yeah, definitely here.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite songs on this album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Metallica classic, Fade to Black, that's my personal favorite Metallica song. Creeping Death, you know, those are all staples of a Metallica set list nowadays. So, all fantastic songs.
They are indeed.
What did you think, Andy?
So, I agree with you. I gave this an A. And there's two songs that stop it from being an S to me. One of them is the same. It's called the Cthulhu.
The other one's Trapped Under Ice?
It is Trapped Under Ice, yeah.
I figured.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think the song I want to talk about, I mean, I don't... What more can you say about For Whom the Bell Tolls, which is my favorite Metallica song?
Mm-hmm.
What more can you say about Fade to Black? What more can you say about Creeping Death? Those are just staple Metallica songs.
Did you want to talk about Escape?
I did want to talk about Escape. Because Escape is a song I think that gets shit on a little bit by a lot of people.
I do too.
Because it sounds commercialized, and it's the first thing that Metallica released at this point that sounds commercialized.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my God, does it work? Does that huge chorus that they
exactly.
it hits and it change when it slows down? This song just works, and I wish it got more recognition and not shit on. And it only gets shit on because it sounds.
And it's completely different from everything else they've done, you know.
But
and I don't even think Metallica played it live until like in the 2010s at some point, and I think they only did it once or twice.
Yeah, so. It's a good song, and every time it comes on, I vibe to it.
Yeah,
I don't get why people don't like it as much. I mean, Call of Cthulhu and Trapped Under Ice are just, to me, worse songs. I agree with you on Fire with Fire. It's just,
yeah.
Dude, oh my God. Speaking of For Whom the Bell Tolls, I'm pretty sure it's a song. I was watching, I think the Michigan Wolverines play Maryland in football last year. Dude, I swear to God, For Whom the Bell Tolls was the only song Maryland could afford. Because they must have started like the first 10 seconds. Like legitimately 50 times it was like, play For Whom the Bell Tolls, play For Whom. I was like, bro,
I think I remember.
Can you buy another?
Yeah, I think you sent me a message, be like, dude, I have heard this song so many damn times.
It just made me laugh. I still love that song. That's one of those songs that you hear and it gets to the end. You're like, no, I want go on another like 5 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
But Fade to Black's a great song, and it's probably the first song where I think Metallica does what Metallica does best. Where you start slow and you ramp up into that great
the heavy ending. Yeah, I think Fade to Black definitely has a really nice melodic kind of creepy intro.
Yeah,
you know, the song itself is very depressing, but you know, it's about dude suicide and like a bunch of stuff, but the guitars on it, you know, just everything I think just flows so perfect on that song. So
Creeping Death is, I mean, that it's obviously a story about the plagues in Egypt from the Bible. Man, if there's ever a song to be turned, or there's ever a story to be turned into a metal song,
it's that.
It's that, and they knock that one out the park. I mean, this album isn't as long as Metallica albums will get.
Yeah,
but at 47 minutes for 8 songs, it's starting to clock in. But
not as bad as some albums down the line.
But when your shortest song is 4 minutes and 5 seconds.
I mean, I think there's an album up here later on where the shortest song is like 6 minutes.
Dude, I just... yeah.
So, but yes, Metallica's, if you're a Metallica fan, they're known for their long songs.
Yeah, that's one way. Long albums. Long everything. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, moving on here to 1986. Master of Puppets,
Puppets.
widely regarded as Metallica's best album and probably the best heavy metal album of all time by numerous sources.
And, everybody has the wrong opinion every now and then.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah. I gave this album an A plus.
Really?
And the only reason why I did not give it an S is because of one song, and it is the thing that should not be. I do not understand why that song is so popular. I tried to listen to it like 4 or 5 times during this week, and I was just like, okay, I kind of like the chorus a little bit when he's talking about face the thing that should not be, but then it's just song just drags on, it feels like to me.
I still don't get why they chose that to also be the last song of Guitar Metallica. Yeah. It's like, ooh, we battled through all these hard songs, and here's the thing that should not be.
Yeah, it's like, what? I don't understand why Master Puppets wouldn't be the last song.
Dude, I don't understand the love for... Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah. But this album, it starts off slow and melodic with Battery, the acoustic intro.
That was like the very beginning of it.
Yeah. And then it just punches you right in the face with, their riff. And then, it goes from there. Just hard, heavy-hitting songs for the first 4, and then I think it's Sanitarium, or the first 3, then it's Sanitarium.
Yeah.
And then Sanitarium is in the same vein of Fade to Black. It's really melodic, tells a story, and then it builds up into that heavy part towards the end. And I think Sanitarium is, personally, I think it's the 3rd best song on this album. So, my favorite song on this album is Damage Incorporated. I think it's a song it's a little underrated in my opinion, because it gets overshadowed by Master of Puppets and Battery in Sanitarium.
So I saw that one ranking. I think I linked it to you where they had that as the number 1 song too.
Maybe.
I'll have to find that again.
Yeah, but personally, my favorite song. That song is just brutal. But this album, I love it. Every song. Leper Messiah is a little, weird here and there.
Yeah.
A little weak, but the thing that should not be is definitely the weakest song on this album, in my opinion.
No, you're not wrong.
So, Andy, what did you think of this album?
I'm still gonna give this one an S, I think.
Okay.
I really like Welcome Home Sanitarium, and I really like Orion. Those are the 2 biggest songs for me off of the album.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Master Puppets is good, and then Battery's also well. I mean, I don't really know what more to say. I mean, so this is the last album too. I mean, we haven't even talked about him at this point.
Oh yeah.
We haven't even talked about Cliff.
That's true. Yeah.
Who was just a huge part of Metallica at the beginning. I mean.
Yeah, he's their bassist, Cliff Burton.
When before they kick out Dave, and they get Kirk. I mean, they had another bass player, Ron McGovney, but they always they always idolize this guy, and it's crazy to think that those 3 big icons idolize this player, and they wanted to play with him, and they would watch him live, and he's like, gotta get this guy in the band. Yeah, it's crazy to think back that that they already looked up to him.
Yeah, because he's an established bass player in the scene already.
In the Bay Area, and they get him, and it just changes that band.
Mm-hmm.
And he performs on the first 3 albums before he was tragically killed. He was only like 24. They were pretty young.
Yeah, they were really young.
In a freak bus accident. But I mean, his playing is so much different than anything you'll hear later on in Metallica. But I mean, he makes a lot of these songs too. His bass, distorted bass.
Yep, he has a trademark sound, and he is the quintessential, like, what you want in a thrash metal bassist. Like, the dude can play fast, and he knows how to make his playing sound really good.
Yeah. Because that's what I always heard, that Orion was like just a way to show off Cliff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's true. And just the same way with Anesthesia Pulling Teeth on the first album, way to show off. Till Lars ruins it.
For Whom the Bell Tolls in the second album.
Yeah, I mean, that beginning bass line is just legendary.
Mm-hmm.
And it really makes you wonder what
would have happened.
I mean, you hear that a lot with a lot of bands, right? I mean, what would happen? But I mean, Metallica still goes on to be big.
Yeah.
But you wonder what, I mean, they still probably go on to be just as
Huge.
big.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think that changes.
Yeah.
But I think their sound would be so much different.
Yeah. Because the main writers in Metallica are Lars and James.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Kirk and Cliff at this point, and
they were
going further, future members, but they didn't get a huge amount of say in the songs. It was mostly Lars would write, you know,
a lot of these have
basic, you know, structure of the song, and then James would come in with the lyrics and then the rhythm and everything like that, and then everybody else would fill in here and there.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, a lot of the early ones I've been looking through it have, like, Cliff has writing, but I don't know, I haven't looked at them, but I doubt, like, going forward, like, Newsted gets as big, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a whole nother topic of Newsted and Metallica. But
yeah.
No, I mean, I wonder if the next album would have been just as good had Cliff not, you know, passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
or maybe better, or
maybe better,
worse.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. This is just a huge album, just for metal too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so many killer songs. First 2 songs are great. Third song, not so much.
the
and
thing
then
that should not be.
And then the next 5 songs are great.
Yeah.
This really could have, man. If this album was 7 songs, it could have been killer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get the love for the thing that should not be.
I know, dude. I don't either. It's heavy. That's about it.
And I know it's based off like Lovecraft horror.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't really care for that anyways, but I don't know. Yeah, I didn't realize this album sold 6 million copies as of 2003, so I'm sure it sold more.
Yeah.
And it was the first metal recording to be selected for the Library of Congress.
I can understand that.
Yeah, culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, up to this point, let's be honest, it ain't gonna be Megadeth's first album.
It might be their 4th, but not their.
Might be their 2nd.
Or their 2nd, yeah.
But it ain't gonna be that first one.
No.
Not the original mono version.
Which was the original? They had 5 versions of it.
Dude. Probably last year, they're probably up to like 12. You can't stop sitting. That's probably why I can't get that new album out, because he's remastering every old thing.
Oh, yeah. Dave. But anyways.
You know, I want to touch this on too. If you think we're talking a lot about Megadeth and the Metallica albums, because these 2 bands go hand in hand.
Yeah. You can't know Metallica without knowing Megadeth.
Let's be honest. It's like the Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC like level of competition.
Yeah, I would say so. Mm-hmm. One slightly overshadowing the other.
Yeah.
But, you know, our opinion is
the correct one.
Yeah.
Moving on. Next album.
Next album here.
1988's And Justice for All.
And Justice for All.
First one to feature local boy Jason Newsted.
Mm-hmm. On inaudible bass.
Yeah, there's no bass on this album. There is bass, but it is turned down
a lot.
So low.
Yeah.
What did you give this album?
So I gave this. I listened to this album twice in this time period, for review purposes, and the songs are good on this album,
except for one of them.
Yes, except for one of them, but they weren't as standoutish and as memorable to me as songs off the first 3 albums.
That's fair.
And so I gave this album a B. And I only had 2 songs on here that I really, really liked.
Really?
Blackened and One, which One I think is their song that really pushed them into the mainstream. Because this was the first music video for this song, One. And it's their Metallica sound, you know, it's slow, melodic, tells that story.
The drumming's still good.
Yep. And then it just builds up into this epic, you know, heavy part towards the end. Fantastic song. I personally think it's Metallica's best song, just for me. Out of everything that they've written.
I feel like every album we've gone to, you're like, this is Metallica's best song.
No, I've said this is my favorite song.
I know,
and then I said this is what people have reviewed as their.
No, I know. I'm just giving.
And then I'm just saying.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
My personal opinion, I think One is their best written, best song that they've done. And it's kind of funny. I think it was last year Metallica did a poll on their Facebook page as to what is the best Metallica song, and it came down to One and Master of Puppets. I was like, come on, I want One to win.
You know
like,
which one's gonna win.
Yeah,
though.
and it was Master of Puppets, of course. I wanted it to be a little different, but there was a little hope. I just was glad that it made it that far. But yeah, the other songs, they just didn't click with me. Like Shortest Straw is a good song. Harvesters of Sorrow, good song. To Live to Die. That song has sentimental value to Metallica, the band. The band.
Yeah, that's fair.
To us, when we're listening to it, I think it's just kind of like a muddled 3 songs mushed together, or no, 2 songs mushed together into one. But what were you saying, that this is mostly, it's a stuff that Cliff wrote, right?
Yeah, it's parts that feature Cliff, or that they liked.
Yeah,
it doesn't have a Wikipedia page, but yeah, pretty sure it's what it is. It's a way to honor Cliff,
with unreleased material and
yeah,
trying to show off stuff that never got out. So, but overall, I mean, I definitely think it's a great Metallica album. But personally, I listen to some of these songs and I think they're just a little too long.
Yeah. I mean,
this album I think is like
65 minutes.
60. Okay, I was gonna say 75.
Oh, that's later. That comes back.
Yeah. Yeah. One and Blackened were my favorite songs in this album. What about you, Andy?
I want to give this album an A. I want to. I'd love to. There's a lot of good songs. I like Blackened. I like And Justice for All. I like One. I like Hearts of Sorrow. But Holy Mother of God, do I hate To Live Is to Die. It is Metallica's worst song. And it is 9 minutes and 49 seconds. That might as well feel like 35 minutes. Dear God, I have an iPod with 1,000 songs on it, and I feel like I have, every time this comes on, oh my God, I want to skip it, but I do a no skip thing. And it just, oh my God, that song is terrible. It's mashed up. It's not done right. I don't get why everybody likes it.
Yeah.
It's just, dear God, does this one song bring a whole letter grade to me? I mean, I don't have anything else to really say that you didn't touch on the other songs. But God, To Live Is to Die is terrible.
It is a terrible. When I was listening to this album, I was like, oh God, here it comes. And I listened to it, I'm like, oh my God.
Every time it comes on, I just want to park my car on the side of the road and walk to the rest of the way so I don't have to listen to it. But it keeps fucking going. You know what I mean? Oh my God. I hate this song.
I do too.
It's so bad. It is legitimately the worst song Metallica has ever put together. It just doesn't flow at all.
It doesn't.
Like if it was, I get the purpose. I love the idea. The execution is terrible.
Yeah.
If it just flowed like a normal song, and maybe it was 1/3 the length.
Yeah.
Why does it need to be 10 minutes? Why? It's not even the last song on the album. So that's how little you think about it. Or I mean, how high you think about it.
Yeah. Oh. I do like one part of the song though.
Yeah, the end when it stops.
Yeah, I was gonna say the last like 15 seconds where it does that like acoustic melody, and then it's done. And I'm like, well, that's the best part of the song, and then it goes into Dyer's Eve, which, I was reading some articles about like Metallica and the different musicians and song playing and Lars's drumming and things like that, and a lot of people think that this is Metallica's best album as far as drums, which
wow.
which you can see on Dyer's Eve in One. I think he really challenged himself to push a little outside of his comfort zone. But if you were to listen to Dyer's Eve, you'd know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
it's super fast with the double bass pedal. It's just in your face,
I mean, even One has that fast double kick. No, I mean, honestly though, I give this album a B. Like I said, I want to go to C to get off the joke. But I really like how heavy Harvester of Sorrow is. Just that riff. I mean, this album is much heavier.
It's not as thrashy.
Yeah. One, I mean, everything you said I agree with. It's just a great song. The build-up is great. The solo was amazing. Obviously, Lars drumming on one is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
On Justice for All, it's a cool song. It's also way too long at 9 minutes and 47 seconds.
Yeah, I do like that song, but I feel like they could have shaved like 4 minutes
See,
off of
that's
it.
how I feel about Blacken. Like, I like the song,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm done about the 3-minute mark.
Mm-hmm.
Friends of Sanity isn't terrible. Short Straw isn't bad, but I mean, this album, it's good. It's got high points, but it's got one really, really, really low point. It's got like Mount Everest and then the Mariana Trench farther down. You know,
Yeah, for real.
yeah, it's a good album. I wish the bass was up, and I wish this is the first album where Lars' drumming mix is
A little high.
But you're right. He probably does make up with it for like it's actually not terrible drumming.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of controversy around this album because of the new bassist that they got, Jason Newsted.
Yeah, they give him a lot of shit too.
Yeah, if you were to watch their live performances or interviews, they give this man a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And I think it's undeserved. But
oh yeah, for sure.
On this album, we've mentioned it a couple times already, but the bass is toned almost to non-existent levels. And there are dozens of made remasters or whatever where they amp the bass up a little bit, and this album sounds almost completely different.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do like the sound on it. I do wish they did have a little more bass in it though. So.
Yeah, just any bass would probably be good, and not the kick drum.
Yeah, right. So,
I mean, yeah. Anyways,
but yeah, moving on here with
to their biggest album.
Sales wise, sales wise, Metallica's biggest album from 1991, Metallica, otherwise known as the Black Album. Andy, what did you give this album?
I don't know, a B plus. I don't know. I have a hard time ranking this one. Like,
Okay.
there's good songs on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I understand, man's good. I don't. Okay, the best. Do I say it? Do I say what the best version of Sad But True is?
Do it.
Kid Rock's is the best version of Sad But True. Come on, man. He went platinum 7 times.
That is very true. God.
I don't know if that's actually what I believe, but I was just never a big fan of Sad But True.
Mm-hmm.
The Unforgiven. It's an okay song. It's a little overrated in my opinion. I like Wherever I May Roam. That's a pretty good song.
Mm-hmm.
Through the Never has a cool chorus. A Wolf and Man has a cool instrument. The guitars are pretty dope on that.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing Else Matters, also a little overrated. My Friend Misery, cool song. Rest of the album though, I couldn't care less about. Holier Than Thou. Don't Tread on Me.
Mm-hmm.
The Struggle Within. I don't know. I mean, the best part about most of those songs are they're short.
Shorter.
Yeah. No, they're like 3 minutes. They're like an average song.
Yeah.
This album is also, it's 62 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
with 12 songs.
Yeah. I mean, this album is good. It's different though. It's not thrash, right?
This is heavy metal, like
this
hard
is heavy
rock.
metal. And there's a lot of songs written for the radio. And that's fine. I don't care if you want to sell out. I mean, it's not selling out, right? I mean,
yeah.
I hate that. I mean, come on. If I was in their position and I could write songs for the radio to make money,
yeah,
I'd do it.
And it's not even necessary. We don't even know if that's what they were aiming for.
Right.
They just
but I'm just saying.
I thought these sounded cool, But they're not like the first 4 albums.
Right. And I won't give anybody shit for like changing their sound, right? Like nobody's gonna be Slayer and go with the same sound for their entire career.
Or Annihilator.
Or Annihilator. I mean, there's nothing wrong with changing your sound, and there's nothing wrong with playing different music.
Changing your sound.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think they sold out, and although I love Lars's comment and how cocky it sounds, yeah, we sell out arenas every time we play.
Yeah. Jesus.
But I mean, I don't know. This album, like I said, if the songs come on, I listen to them, and I think they're pretty good. But it just doesn't do it for me, and I don't understand why this is Metallica's big album, biggest album, And it's the one everybody knows. When really the ones they need to check out are Master of Puppets and
Mm-hmm.
Kill 'Em All. If you want the true, I think honestly the true Metallica experience.
Yep.
That's not to say these are poorly written songs or anything. It's just
For you.
yeah, for me, I like the other ones, and I still give it like a B plus. I'm gonna give it a A. I don't want to give it like a lower B, but I think a B plus is about right what it deserves for me.
Mm-hmm.
Lars' drumming starts to kind of go downhill here. It's kind of this is the tippy top of the slope, and we will find the bottom later. But for now, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just a B. What about for you?
I gave this album a B plus, so almost along the same lines as you. When I listen to this album, I think the first four of the first five are fantastic. Enter Sandman, three of the first five. Sad But True is a good song, but it gets a little.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't like it as much as Enter Sandman. I don't like it as much as The Unforgiven or Wherever I May Roam, which is my favorite song off the album. Wherever I May Roam, I think it's the best song on the album. But then after that, I don't like Don't Tread on Me. I really don't like Through the Never. I like Nothing Else Matters. Good song. But then I don't like Of Wolf and Man. I don't like The God That Failed, My Friend of Misery, or The Struggle Within. This album for me is all about the hits. And then all those other songs just seem like fillers.
To me, it's the opposite. I think the hits feel more like filler. And then the other ones, except for Don't Tread on Me, I don't know. And Sad But True. I think those are just better. But I think it's more the instruments.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Through the Never. I think that has a pretty good chorus, like I said.
Yeah.
But I think we agree. It's just, I think we have opposite opinions on the songs. Like, you like the hits more. I think some of the hits are just overrated.
Mm-hmm.
But the gems are the deep cuts. Are the better ones.
I do like Holier Than Thou. It's a good song. I wouldn't put it up there compared to like Wherever I May Roam or Enter Sandman or something. But do you think that maybe you don't like the hits on this album too much is because they were overplayed?
No. Maybe a little. No, because I don't really listen that much Metallica, right? Like, not anymore. I used to listen to a bunch of Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know. There's a whole nother problem, and I want to touch on it. Dude, that spider's... Don't worry about it, all right? There's a spider on the ceiling, and we've been staring at it for, like, this entire time we've been recording. Shit, I lost my train. There's a problem I have with Metallica that I'll come up with later, but it doesn't have anything with them being overplayed. It's just, I don't know. I don't care for the songs that much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care for The Unforgiven, and like I don't care for the lyrics. I don't really care for the instruments. It's slower. It's clearly like a radio song. Again, nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I like this album, but I definitely don't like it as much as the first four.
No, for sure. I mean, I don't like go out and look Through the Never, and I don't go to play that. But when it comes up on that and My Friend of Misery and A Wolf Man,
jam out to it.
When they come up on my iPod or if I do have like a This Is Metallica Spotify playlist, and they come on, I'm like, okay, I can jam out to these. I won't skip them, but I wouldn't put them in like high rated. I don't know, not a big fan of the bigger hit songs off this album.
Yeah, that's fair. Should we move on then? I think you said everything about the Black Album.
Oh yeah, because then now we're getting into the real meat of Metallica.
We're getting into the good stuff now.
This is where true fans are born.
Exactly. All right, 1996, Load.
I just want to read off the genres for this album before you get into anything.
Go ahead.
Hard rock, heavy metal, alternative metal, country rock. Like, what? And honestly, actually, I want to read the next one too, which would be length. This album is 78 minutes and 59 seconds.
Yeah, this is where we start getting into those long albums.
Oh, we forgot to touch on that. The last album was done by Bob Rock.
Oh, yeah.
You can't forget Bob Rock. Plays a great role in Metallica history.
Yes, he does.
the only reason he stopped producing is because they had to have a fan petition to stop Bob Rock from producing Metallica albums. Which should give you a real foreshadowing of the albums that are about to show up.
Yeah, I mean, he produced the Black Album, which is their biggest selling album. So, I mean, he was off to a good start with Metallica.
Then he wasn't.
All right.
Anyways, what'd you give it?
No, you go ahead first. You go for it first.
I gave it a C.
All right. Why is that?
Because it's 78 minutes and 59 seconds.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding. First off, I don't know what the hell half of these songs are. First off, let's just start with the good songs.
Okay.
First off, there's 14 songs in this album. So we're starting with the good ones. King Nothing, Hero of the Day. All right, done. There's not another song I would listen to on this album.
Really?
I hate
another song.
Dude, Mama Said came on yesterday when I was driving, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this song? I always hear people say The Outlaw Torn is one of Metallica's best songs. It's definitely one of the longest at 9 minutes and 49 seconds. But I don't know. Dude, this album is just... Hero of the Day is a really good song, and King Nothing is a really good song.
Mm-hmm.
I've always liked King Nothing, because I once heard somebody say, when you get to the chorus, don't say King Nothing, say I'm a bad motherfucker, and it fits so much better, and it's all I can think of every time I hear it.
Yeah.
But Hero of the Day is just such a different song from Metallica.
Yeah,
King Nothing is...
Exactly.
I don't know, just a fun song. Ain't My Bitch, Ain't My Song.
Dude, that is a good song.
No, it's not.
Yes,
No,
it is,
it's not.
Man.
2x4? No. The House that Jack built? No.
Mm-hmm.
Until It Sleeps? No. Bleeding Me? No. Cure? No. Poor Twisted Me? No. Wasting My Hate? Wasting My Time? Mama Said? Definitely not.
I was gonna say, what was it that you referred to? Until It Sleeps, you're like, that song puts me to sleep or something like that. Like,
Until It Sleeps, yeah. Until I wake up when the song's done 45 minutes later. Yeah, it's only 4 minutes, but dude, this album, I mean, obviously it drags. It's 40, it's almost 79 minutes. It's 78 minutes and 58 seconds. Like, they couldn't have just wrote 2 more seconds. Hell, just make the Outlaw Torn in 9 minutes and 51 seconds. Nobody makes it to the end anyways.
Jesus Christ, man.
Dude.
They're ripping into this album. Holy crap.
Yeah, this...
I mean, I
you know, for an album called Load, you think it would be loaded with good songs, but it's not.
Jesus.
I don't have any actual music-related things to say about this album, but I just do not like this album. And apparently my iPod thinks this song has 45 songs on this list because, dear God, do I have to listen to all of them all the time.
Maybe that's why you hate them so much, is because they pop up so much on your iPod.
Anyways, what did you think about this album? I feel like the opinion can only go up.
Oh, yeah, it definitely did go up. It's definitely a hot take here, but I gave this album an A.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You don't remember this, but I remember when we lived together, you would drink like 24 packs of Sam Adams Oktoberfest and listen to this album and the next one.
I don't remember 24.
Yeah.
I remember 12 packs. I don't remember 24s.
Yeah, because you bought 2 of them.
Shh.
You were really living up the alcoholic.
Yeah, the Alcoholica.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Anyway, sorry. I didn't want to interrupt.
It's a different time for me, man, okay?
Yeah. This is 6 months ago.
No, that was
I'm
like
just
6 years ago,
Yeah.
okay? But, oh my gosh. This album, completely different than anything Metallica has done.
Yeah,
they
used to release good albums.
And that, I mean, that's fair from your opinion, yes. Man, this album is just like hard rock. It's not metal at all. And any, like, at least on the Black Album, you got some, a little bit of metal here and there, but
You don't got country rock.
yeah. But I listened to this album again, and I really liked a lot of these songs. I actually liked Ain't My Bitch, okay? I don't care what you say, man. I like that song. I thought it was a good opening song to this album.
Okay,
I mean, it's...
We're all entitled to our hot takes.
I mean, for you, this ain't your album, so
Yeah.
right off the start. But Hero of the Day is my favorite song off
Yeah,
this album.
no, for
It's
sure.
definite. It is so different than anything Metallica has ever done. It's definitely commercialized,
Oh,
like
yeah.
radio play wise, but they do it so well. I think James has some really good vocals and singing on that song, especially I've heard him do it live, and I'm like, I think it's his height as a vocalist. King Nothing is a good song. I like Until It Sleeps. I think that's a great song. Um, but I also like Cure. I like Cure. I don't know why. I really like the chorus where he's like, everybody must have the sickness because everyone seems to need the cure. I don't know, like just the way he says it. Um, Mama Said, I like that song, dude. It's slow and when it comes on, like, I don't know, just the bass is like really loud and thundering in that song. I just really like that. And I don't know why. And I put this on here for some reason. I like this song, but I liked Ronnie for some reason.
Oh, God. Forgot about Ronnie. Mama Said would be better if it was just it was a cover of LL Cool J's Mama Said Knock You Out.
Oh my god.
That would be a better version, and like in a thrash metal song. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, dude. I listened to this album and I'm just like, it's not as bad as I remember it, because
It's worse.
I used to hate Load and I used to hate Reload, and um, I I just grooved with a lot of these songs. I was listening to them, and I had my head bobbing a little bit. I was like, yeah, I like the way these sound. They're slow, they're heavy sounding though. But I just really like this album personally. I like the hits off of the Black Album better, but I like more songs off of this album than I do on the Black Album. That's why I gave it a higher rating.
All right, fair enough.
Except for Hero of the Day. That's my second favorite, or maybe third favorite Metallica song. It's in the top 5.
Okay.
So
It is a good song.
Mhm.
I ain't gonna argue with that.
Yeah. So
I mean, I definitely don't have anything else to say about this album.
yeah, it's like I think you've said everything you need to say about this album, correct?
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, moving on then with what is it? 1997. 1 year later.
Man, and I bet you they spent a good maybe 3 weeks thinking of this title. What should we call this?
I really like this album title.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
I mean,
what do we got? What do we got, Andy?
Reload?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reload.
They're like, hey man, the last album was great at 78 minutes. What if we just reload that back and do 76 minutes of a song? An album, but still only put 2 good songs in it.
What are your 2?
Actually, I'm trying to think if there even is 2 good songs. Yeah, there's 2 good songs.
Yeah, there's 2 good songs on here.
Maybe
man.
3. And it's like 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
Only because the chorus of Fuel is funny when you just roll. This album's a C. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
All right.
Fuel's an alright song.
Mm-hmm.
The Unforgiven 2 is really good. It's the best of the Unforgiven series.
Mm-hmm.
And Attitude is just a fun song.
Oh yeah.
But bruh, this song also has 45. This album also has 45 songs on it, and none of them I want to listen to. Memory Remains, which I don't have to remember this album. Devil's Dance, Better Than You, Slither, Carpe Diem Baby, Bad Seed. First off, Where the Wild Things Are is just a trash song.
it's
just bad.
It's like number 2
I
of their worst songs.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, there's still like a football field gap between Where the Wild Things Are and To Live Is to Die, but it's still pretty bad. Low Man's Lyric, not much better. Fixer, it's just trash. This album's trash. This period of Metallica's trash, and I never want to listen to these albums again, except for maybe Attitude and The Unforgiven 2.
Mm-hmm.
I really like The Unforgiven 2, especially that little guitar part at the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to give them D's though. Like they're not that bad.
Yeah.
They're just not good. Like, dude, and maybe this is because we lost the spider.
He was on the ceiling.
Anyways.
No, he's not. Anyways.
The spider's more interesting than these albums. I don't know, maybe just because my iPod plays them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, but maybe it is, just to sound less biased.
Yeah. Anyways,
But I don't have anything else musically related to say about these albums. I don't like Load and Reload.
I can kind of tell. Yeah.
If those songs are like on a greatest hit, I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. But I'd never go listen to the albums again.
Mm-hmm.
And first off, it's mostly because they're way too fucking long. Dude, they are long.
They are really long.
And I'll touch on, I think, more at the end when we talk about like our likes and strengths of the band.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't like about it, like most post Black Album Metallica.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
For now, I'm just gonna give it a C and move on with my life.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you give it?
I gave it a B minus. I really like Fuel. That's I don't even know what he says. I think he says, "Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire." But the way he says it is
It's
like
just mumbled.
Yeah,
And that's a huge meme, anyways.
yeah.
Give me fuel, give me blah.
Yeah. The Memory Remains, second favorite song off the album. That is just classic, like blues, metal.
I see why we're friends, because you got low standards.
Man, that's messed up.
What I'm calling myself like.
The Unforgiven 2, I think, is the best of the 3 Unforgivens.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Dude, stop. Don't worry about the spider. It's gone, man.
And no, it's right there again.
Who cares? What?
Anyways, but yeah, Unforgiven 2 is in my top 5 favorite Metallica songs.
Damn, man, I feel like there's a lot more than 5 songs.
I haven't given my 5th one yet. But I don't know, just the guitar, the way it sounds on that, it's like really, I don't know, like twangy or something like that.
Oh man, you know what else has twangy music?
What?
Country.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it doesn't really mix thrash metal and country.
Nah, you don't know that until you've tried. I wouldn't say
I've listened to the Outlaw Torn. Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, I guess. But after that, after those like first 4 songs, I mean, Devil's Dance is okay. But after the first 4 songs, like, I really didn't like anything until Attitude came on. And
Attitude's so fun.
Attitude's just a fun song. The freaking chorus is throw all your bullets in a fire and stand there like, or run like hell. And it's just like, what are you talking about, dude?
I can't even understand half the words he says in that thing either.
Yeah. But I love listening to that song. That's
that
one of my favorites off
on,
this album. Yeah. So, but everything else, I could see a little promise in some of the songs, but I did not like when they were put together. Plus, they're very long. This album's very, very long. Very, very long.
You are not kidding. I don't know if I've touched on how long these albums are. Yeah. Anything else? Because I don't.
Why, you wanna get onto their best album here already?
I want to get onto it.
All right. Well, yeah, I think I've said everything I can say about Reload. So let's move on to 2003 with Metallica's best album,
Look,
Saint Anger.
Let's do it one after another. We give our grades back to back.
What do you mean, like with each song?
No.
Oh,
you say it, then I'll say it.
All right. You say it and I say it.
All right. I'll give this album an S.
I give it an A+.
Ooh.
Okay.
Maybe I'll give it, I don't know. But I give it the same way you give like a shitty movie you watch that's so bad it's good. Mm-hmm. This album is not good production value wise. No, honestly, the songs are...
Okay. But this album has some of Metallica's best songwriting just in a long time.
Unfortunately, the production value
is god awful.
Sounds like the same thing that Lars is playing on. Trash.
Mm-hmm. Trash can.
No, just, that too. Mm-hmm. I mean,
like the guitars in this are so muddy. The bass is like way too loud, so it just blends in with the guitars and it sounds like all like one. The drums, he's hitting on a metal trash can. What did he do? He like unsnatched the snare on his snare drum.
And he's like, you want to see how to make a hit album? And he hits it with the snare on. He's like, you want to see how to make a shit album? And he taps the snare off and he hits the snare drum. Sounds like he's hit the trash can. God. It's so bad. There is a great, though. It's on YouTube. I I should look it up so I can give him a shout out. It's like 2005 fan remake with Metallica's Blessing.
I think it's 14.
I think it's 15, but who cares?
Or
I mean, they were
14,
one
yeah.
next to each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
But oh my God, does it really show you like
What this album
could've
sounds
been?
like
Yeah,
if it had good production. Exactly.
I'll find it, but I mean, dude, what is not to love about this?
The first song, right off the
Oh my
bat,
God.
you know, it gets in your face with frantic, tick, tick. You know, oh,
Yeah, what is
like,
that though?
I don't know what the song is about. Getting like your life back or something. I don't know.
Yeah, here it is. 2015. Saint Anger, recorded by Daryl Gardner. You should check that out if you listen. Listen to the original and listen to them trash can drums and
then listen to the re-recorded version.
yeah, and it's just so different. But you're right, dude. Frantic, and also who writes frantic tick 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 tock. Also, let's talk about the chorus. Oh my God, my lifestyle, the terms of my death style. What Mozart of music wrote that one up? Actually, I remember that one from Some Kind of Monster, right? Like they're sitting in the studio and he's got the pad out and it's him and James and they're like, "What should we write? How about my lifestyle terms?" Like, yeah. I'm 14 and this is deep, baby. What the hell is that?
Well, to be fair, Metallica was going through a bit of a rough patch here, you know. They fired, or no, Jason Newsted quit.
Yeah.
But Metallica had been dealing with a lot of personal band issues. You know, James he went into rehab for alcohol addiction and some other things. So there's a lot of turmoil and struggle that this band was going through, and this album definitely shows it.
You could say it was a frantic time in Metallica.
It was. There was some kind of monster that was brewing in Metallica here.
Newsted really quit over that unnamed feeling that he was getting from the rest of the band. Yeah.
Yeah. Once he left, they could purify. You know.
But they really had this album though all within my hands, but they just dropped the ball.
God damn it.
I would say this album though is like the Invisible Kid of Metallica albums. Like everybody likes to forget about it.
Dude, that is perfect. That is perfect. But it's so true though. Like everybody shits on this album just because it sounds so bad.
And honestly, it's
justified.
It's justified, yeah.
But the songwriting is, in my opinion, fantastic on here. Frantic's amazing. Saint Anger's amazing. Some Kind of Monster's okay. I like the song.
Yeah.
Dirty Window, amazing. Invisible Kid, amazing. Shoot Me Again
is great.
Amazing
oh my
song.
God.
Sweet Amber, I love that song so much. Unnamed Feelings, all right. You know, Purify is good. You know, opening riff. You know, it's got a decent chorus. All Within My Hands, it's all right. You know, but I'm serious. Like those good songs that I like on here, I love those songs. I've never skipped a single song off of Saint Anger.
I know. They're so bad, it's good. Mm-hmm. It's like a train wreck. You can't keep your eyes off it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I mean, they wrote this album in like 3 different locations if you watch Some Kind of Monster.
Which is a documentary about the making of this album.
Which you should watch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is just so bad. I mean, James could only stay out till the lights came on. From like 12 to 4.
Yeah, noon to 4.
Yeah. And if he didn't get his way, he was slamming doors in his overalls.
Everybody was bullying him in air quotes here. But, oh my gosh. Like, there's just so much passion and just, you know, you can feel the emotion that they put in this album, in my opinion, you know.
Except for they just didn't do a good job.
Yeah, and it sounds terrible. Like, the album sounds terrible production qualities wise, but I think that's what adds to its magic because it's so bad. And you know,
I haven't watched Some Kind of Monster in years, so I might be wrong in this, but I remember because in the documentary they hired the new bassist, Robert Trujillo.
Yep.
How long has it been since you watched Some Kind of Monster? Did you watch
it was about a month ago. Yeah.
When they have that meeting with them and they sign them to the band, they give them like an advance, like $1 million, son, right?
Yep.
Which maybe they should just took that $1 million and put it into production instead of giving it to that guy. Like that guy was already going to make a fuck ton of money because he's in Metallica.
Yeah.
Like how does a band that's the size of Metallica Finish his album, go.
You know what? That sounds good.
Yeah. The trash can drums, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy that sounds on the plastic PVC pipe and the yeah, that guy sounds better than we do on this well-produced album. I don't understand it. But again, it's what makes everything bad. It's the same reason you love watching shitty movies.
Mm-hmm.
Same reason the people keep going to see rock movies after this time. They're just bad and they're not good, but it makes it great because it doesn't take it. Well, it tries to take itself seriously.
Mm-hmm.
It tries to be that return to heaviness.
Yeah.
And then they just forgot to actually like
Tune their instruments.
tune the instruments and like not send the demos out is the main shit.
Yeah.
It sounds like honestly like these were all the demos for the songs before they went in and did the masters.
Yeah, quality wise.
Dude,
One thing real quick about this album is there's not a single solo on any of these songs,
which is so weird for Metallica.
Yeah, Metallica is known for their solos. If you've listened to a bunch of their songs, they have amazing solos. But I remember when I was watching, they were talking about this album. They're like, we want to put solos in. They tried to shoehorn some in here and there, and like, you know what? Screw it. We're not gonna force it. You know.
They had 75 minutes and they couldn't even find a spot to put a solo in.
I know.
Dude, this album is long though.
It is.
Dude, the lyrics on this album are so bad.
Yeah, there are definitely some I'm 14, this is deep lyrics.
Also, that laugh. You know which one I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about in Dirty Window.
Oh, my God. Every time it comes up, I love doing it because it's so bad. This album's so bad, but yet it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
This might be Metallica's best album. I don't care. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. But it could be.
I think if they would have gotten that production quality up.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to see it.
Musically, it would be one of their best.
Honestly, I don't even feel like they need to remaster. That guy on YouTube didn't even the singer sounds like a lot like James. Honestly, check out Daryl Gardner's remake of Saint Anger. Just you can just Google Saint Anger 2015. It should be the first one. It's so good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wish that was on Spotify.
That would be nice.
Yeah. But
Saint Anger, man. That's such a meme album for us.
It's definitely a meme S.
Yeah.
It's probably more an A. I'd probably give it an A because I don't want to like taint my S pool by putting Saint Anger into it.
Yeah, I really wanted to put it as an S, but I'm like,
yeah, I think I'm gonna double back here and
I'll give it an A because I do think it's a fantastic album
for all the wrong reasons.
Yes,
and it's actually a few of the right ones.
Yeah, like I really do love Frantic, Saint Anger, Dirty Window, Invisible Kid, Shoot Me Again, Sweet Amber. Like when those songs come on, I'm jamming out to those songs.
I remember me and you sitting in my car and like Shoot Me Again, and that shit's turned up as loud as it can go with the blowing out speakers, and they're just rocking out. Unironically, yeah,
good times, man.
Great times. This album's amazing. It's like the rubber of music, which also is a great movie you should check out. It's about a murderous tire.
Rubber. I forgot about that movie. But, all right, do you have anything else to say about Saint Anger?
No.
All right, then we should move on then.
To Death Magnetic.
Death Magnetic.
2008?
2008.
What do you think?
Actually, I didn't put in a rating for this album. Oops.
Wing it.
All right, so this album, I would give it, I'd say like an A-. I really like the songs, some of the songs on this album. I think it got back to the higher production quality of, some of the earlier Metallica stuff. And I think the songwriting is pretty good on here. First two songs are okay. This Was Just Your Life, it was a good opener, return to Metallica's old style. The end of the line was all right. But then it got Broken Beat and Scarred. I love that song. The Day That Never Comes. I love that song. It's kind of a return to their whole, like really slow melodic start. And then, get into the heaviness later. I know we'll touch on it here in a minute. But then All Nightmare Long, I love that song. Cyanide, great song. Unforgiven 3, I think, is a good song. I'd say it's the third best of the Unforgivens. Just for me. And Judas Kiss, is good. Suicide and Redemption is a little long.
A little?
A little long.
A little. It's 9 minutes and 58 seconds.
And it's an
I
all
think
instrumental.
I think it's their longest song, actually.
Yeah. And, My Apocalypse is a good ending song on this album. So overall, I think it's a really strong album. But I really love Broken Beat and Scarred and All Nightmare Long. Like, I could jam out to those songs, numerous times. I love those songs. So, but one thing that I don't like about this album, it hurts my ears to listen to it. It hurts my ears to listen to it. And that's when I was reading up the history on this album. They mastered it and everything, and then the record label, they turned all the instruments and all the volume up to the maximum.
Well, this album's also produced by Rick Rubin, who's been known to be like on the pushes of the loudness wars. Like, you take everything
and just bump it up
to 10. And I hate.
Like, I was listening to this album at home, and my speakers, like, I could hear them like crackling, as I was listening to some of these songs. I'm like, Jesus Christ, and that's what made me go look up, what was going on with this album. Why does it sound like that? And, everything was turned up to, like we said, 10. Nothing is really, when you have a well mixed album, you can hear everything individually. Nothing overpowers really anything else. But in this album, I think the drums are super loud. The guitars are, super loud, and they just kind of blend together. Like, you can kind of hear what they're playing. The bass, I really didn't hear it because I think it's overpowered by everything. It's there.
Well, I think it's overpowered by one thing.
Yeah. And the vocals, turned up to 11. So if it didn't have that quality, or that sound to it, I think I'd give it a little bit higher.
Yeah, that's fair.
So what did you think of this album?
It's funny you say that, because I've been kind of scrolling through the Wikipedia article for this, and it does have a whole section on the compression of the
album.
The album. But I don't know. I give this album an 8 as well. But I think this album I also have a little bit nostalgia to. So I didn't really start getting into metal till my late teens. And this comes out in 2018, and I'm 18.
Or 2008.
Yeah, sorry, 2008. And I'm 18. And I remember jamming this. It was about senior in high school when this came out. Just, jamming on the way to work, or if I left campus to go for lunch, just jamming all these songs. The first 7 songs on this are good. Actually, maybe it's more like 6.5. I don't really care for the Judas Kiss, Suicide Redemption, or My Apocalypse at all, but yeah, the first 7 songs are great. The second half of The Day That Never Comes, though, oh, sweet Lord, do I hate this. It's Lars playing one fucking beat for 4 minutes. Dude, it's so bad. I remember seeing them in 2009, so they're touring for this album. I remember listening to my friend's cousin. I'm like, oh, he's about to play the same beat for 4 minutes. And it's true. He plays the same beat. The drums are turned up way too loud in this album.
And this is where we're kind of poking around it a little bit earlier about Lars's drumming.
Oh my god.
And I did a lot of I've watched a lot of videos, of Metallica live, and I've read a lot of things about this band and Lars in particular, in that at this point in time, like after that break between Saint Anger and this album, Lars quit practicing drums. He's still a good drummer, but you can definitely tell on this album and the next album that the drum beats just got so simple, and he relies way too much on just a snare and I think one of the cymbals.
The hi-hat?
No, it's just
the crash.
Yeah. And you can listen to it, and he doesn't use a lot of double bass in a lot of his songs, every now and then, but you can tell, like, it's super simple. It works for Metallica.
And the mix, though, is always so loud.
Yeah.
It's like almost mixed as loud as the guitars.
which, you know, I've said it before, I think Metallica is a guitar band. That's what they're heavy, powerful riffs. They're not known for their amazing drum beats or amazing bass lines. They're known for their big, powerful, melodic riffs, you know. So.
No, yeah, it just his drumming is just so bad. If I had to put a con, sorry, his drumming is gonna be number one.
Mm-hmm.
But all these songs are great though. They're long because this album is also 75 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the shortest song on this album is My Apocalypse at 5 minutes and 1 second, and there's not another song in the 5 minute range. If you don't take that one, the shortest one's 6 minutes and 25 seconds. And they all feel long.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. And they're good songs, and maybe bunch of it's nostalgia to me too. I just wish if the day that never comes was like half the length that was, and got rid of that stupid, or he just played better drums.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a great album. I love it. If it comes on, I listen to most songs. Really, I like The End of the Line. I think that's a really good song. All Night Long is cool. It's got a pretty cool music video too.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you on like the sound. It's too loud.
Yeah, I remember listening to this album when I was in high school with my headphones, and I was like, my ears always hurt when I would listen to songs off this album. And now I really understand why, you know. So I have heard that there are remakes, and I think like the iTunes version or something is redone. That too. I haven't listened to them.
Yeah, I want to kind of check them out too.
But I'm judging this off of this, you know.
Well, yeah, we don't. I mean, there might be other versions, especially like the San Angelo we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm judging it off of like the OG.
The original.
Yeah. No, that's really all I got to say. Death Magnetic, decent album.
Mm-hmm. Good songs on it.
Yeah.
But all right.
Let's go to the newest release.
On to their next album here, Hardwired to Self-Destruct from 2016. Andy, what did you give this album?
This album's a C.
All right.
If you're going to write a cookie cutter Metallica album, look no farther. It's long.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same song. For the most part, the best song is probably Hardwired because it's only 3 minutes and I don't have to listen to most of it. It's like, hey, what if we just wrote a bunch of hard songs that go fast and then we just put them in a row and don't really change too much about it? Yeah, that sounds great. Here you go. Here's a Metallica album. You've been asking for it. It's been 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this album at all.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, the first 4 songs are okay. The first, Now That We're Dead's not that great, but Hardwire, Atlas Rise, Moth to Flame, they're good.
Yeah,
they're long. Man, the length of these like albums are just
I know
they just kill me.
And that's kind of what I wanted to just talk about with this album in particular. Feels like almost every song had some section in it where they had like a little group section where it was like 2 or 3 minutes that didn't need to be there.
I'm telling you, this is the cookie cutter Metallica album.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's an album they sold out on. I feel like to me this one would be it. Again, don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But, bro, it's just I didn't enjoy this album.
Mm-hmm.
It just dragged on because all the songs sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is the album I've listened to like once, and I was like, yeah, I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Would you give it?
I also give it a C.
Yeah.
And I personally I'm a little biased with Hardwired, the first song off the album. It's the shortest song that Metallica I think has like ever done. I swear.
Yeah,
I
3 minutes and 10 seconds.
And I think it is like absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Like it gets the job done. It's, quick drum intro and then it just goes into the song is heavy and fast and then it's done. And it's like, it didn't need any unnecessary fills to make it longer or whatever. But the reason why I said I'm biased is when I saw them live in 2017, I think it was. Yeah, 2017. They opened with this song And where I was probably like 100 feet away from the stage. And I remember I was with my girlfriend at the time, and this was her first like metal concert. And I looked at her and I was like, you could hear the drums, from the intro to Hardwired. And I was like, all right, you ready? Like, once the song starts, like, the crowd's going to blow up. And she's like, okay. I was like, well, hold my hand. And so then the song starts, it's like right about to start, and I see this dude in front of me. He turns around, and he looks at me, and he just kind of nods, and I was like, all right. I knew that he was just going to run for it, and right when the song started, everybody started going crazy, and he just ran for it. We got like 40 feet, 30 feet
Nice.
from the stage, so we got way up there, and that's what I have such a good memory from this,
Yeah, that's a cool story.
And then Moth into the Flame, I think, is the best song on the album overall. Personally, I think it's better than what they wrote on Death Magnetic 2. I think it's one of the best songs they've written in a long time. I really, really like that song. But Hardwired and Moth into a Flame are my favorite songs on the album. But everything else, I was listening to, I'm like, man, this song does not need to be 6-7 minutes, whatever. They could have gotten the important parts of this song, crunched them down, made it like 3.5-4 minutes, and it would have been perfect. Like, this album definitely would have been a lot higher rating. But there's so many that they just drag on. You're just like, okay, yeah, we get it, Lars. You can do the snare like, and then crashing the cymbal. Like, hey man, you've done that like every song at least 6 times in each song. Like, come on, dude. Or just the slow, heavy riff that Kirk does. And I've read a lot of people talking about how Kirk and Lars got kind of lazy on this album. And I mean, maybe it's due to old age. I don't know. I mean, there are some dudes out there that are just as old that still rock just as hard.
Still play just as hard, and he still writes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. He's never going to finish that album at this rate.
But at this point, I mean, Metallica is the biggest heavy metal band in the world. Like, do you need to really prove anything? And I feel like that's what this album is. They're like, well,
that's why
we'll put out an album.
That's why I say it's like the most cookie cutter Metallica album you can write.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they just phoned it in. I agree with you on that.
So it's like, well, we need to make an album. We need to tour, get some more money. So let's, just put in, 2 or 3 songs that are really good, and then everything else will just kind of, throw in a jam session song or whatever, that we kind of groove to here and there, and then throw it on the album. There we go. Because I think their singles off this album are Hardwired, Atlas Rise, and Moth into the Flame.
Actually, I think there's
Spit Out the Bone.
And Now That We're Dead.
Oh, I don't like that song. Spit Out the Bone, though, was a pleasant surprise, because it was, listening to this album, it's the last song, Spit Out the Bone. And all the other songs are, kind of, except for Moth into the Flame and Hardwired, but all the other ones are kind of slow and heavy, groovy. And then all of a sudden Spit Out the Bone comes out, and it's just like hard and fast, like original Metallica. Like, this is what we needed on this album. But it's 7 minutes and 10 seconds long. It's a little long, and I think it loses its fire like halfway through. I'm just like, oh my god, okay.
I agree.
Is the song done yet?
Yeah, I'm looking at this, and it's like a little snippet from the AV Club's review of this album. I think it about sums it up. It says 77 minutes of endless thrash gets tiring, and thought the songs would benefit from leaner songwriting. Like, yeah, like,
just cutting some of that fill out.
Yeah, just cutting the fat off. You're right. If every song was like Hardwire and it was 3 minutes and 10 seconds, the album gets higher. But
except for Moth into the Flame.
Okay, that's fair.
That song I think is good at where it's at.
5 minutes 52 seconds.
Yeah, and which is I think the second shortest song on the album, which is one of the positive things.
No, it's third, because Murder One is 5 minutes and 46 seconds.
Oh my god.
Lars tried to get another fill to the crash in there,
Jesus.
I can't play drums, but even I can do that.
Right? Pretty much. And oh my god, when we talk about Lars' drumming, like the dude pioneered with Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master Puppets, and Justice.
I agree that he got lazy.
And once they had that success of the Black Album, I feel like he got kind of lazy. And I've seen in interviews and things, he's talked about how he really didn't practice really after Saint Anger during the 2000s late. And you can definitely hear it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's true or not. I do know that Joey Jordison played with Metallica, and he's the drummer for Slipknot.
He was, not anymore.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And he played with them during a festival when Lars was sick. And I don't know how true the quote is. I think I remember reading it from James, but James had said that after they had gotten done playing with that show with Joey, he was like, that was the best show that we've had because it felt so alive. Like the drumming was, the drumming is supposed to be that backing that sets the tempo and the pace and everything like that. And he felt invigorated and revived. Like, oh yeah, like we got to play fast and heavy again, not just, playing the songs to play the songs. I don't know.
Right.
So,
Lars has two moves. He does the snare and the crash, and then he stands up to hit the crash. Hits both of them.
Yeah.
That's Lars.
Yeah.
That's his playing.
Yeah, and what was it? He went from being kind of a technical drummer to just a hard-hitting drummer. Like, he just loves beating on,
It's the new Tommy Lee.
Right. So he just loves beating hard and not really technical and things like that. So, I mean, there's nothing completely wrong with it, but
no, but for how high you're gonna tune the drums in the mix to only play that, it's just kind of like, oh god.
Yeah, I agree.
If you want to play it and it fits, it just turn it down and let it just ride in the back. Turn up the other instruments or the voice. Yeah, I don't know. His drumming just ruins. It just knocks Metallica down a rank for me, I think. I don't know. I don't know.
I agree.
I mean, yeah.
So Hardwired to Self-Destruct, their last album, not that great.
Not that great.
In our opinion.
Yeah.
But, all right, Andy. Overall for Metallica, what would you give them?
Like a B+. Out of the big four, which we didn't even touch on, which is the big four thrash, which is Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth. I mean, I wouldn't put the next band there.
And technically it's Anthrax, but we both believe Testament should be in that place.
Yeah. I mean, I would put them third. Fourth if Testament was in there.
Jeez.
Yeah, I just like the other bands more.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think, okay, well, first off, if we do include Testament, all their drummers are better. Whoever Dave has drumming with them, it's better.
Which is when I was reading about all these like all the stuff about Lars's drumming, and they were comparing him to Megadeth, and the thing with Megadeth is like Dave gets jazz musicians.
Yeah.
With almost everything, the bass, the guitars, and the drums, and jazz has way more. They're more technical and less predictable with their drumming style, which is part of the reason why I love Megadeth. But with Metallica, it's like I don't want to shit on Lars saying that he's a bad drummer. He's not.
Right.
Like he's done some great.
His drumming in the first 4 albums, 5, is great. Like it does.
And I think he's had some good songs, after that.
Like it doesn't take away from it, but it does later. It hurts the songs. I think a lot of them.
Yeah, I agree. So,
like I said, there'd be like I don't want to give him like a B+. Like I don't go really search. I don't listen to much Metallica anymore. And I did say I was going to touch on like why. I mean, so like the first 4 albums, 5 albums, they're great. All the songs are great. I mean, some of them are long. But I feel like after, maybe even including the Black Album, but definitely the albums past the Black Album, the songs are long, but I feel like they never like grow. I feel like you just go like, it's the same kind of beat. It gets to the chorus, which is supposed to be like the big part of, It is. It's a big part of Metallica songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then the middle parts are forgettable, chorus, rememberable, and then it just still goes on for like another 4 minutes. It's so like it's just instrumentals or like I said, the choruses are mostly always memorable, but the middle parts, the hooks, bridges, those are just like throwaway almost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, why do these songs need to be 7 minutes? Like, write better bridges and hooks and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and shorten the songs by 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of like, especially Load and Reload, it's like, why is this song still going on? It's been 3 minutes. We haven't had any lyrics. We haven't changed the tempo. There's been no
Progression.
There's no progression. A lot of the early songs had great transitions. I mean, Disposable Heroes,
Yeah.
the song which has a lot of good transitions.
I think
in
that song's like 8 minutes.
and
right?
it's 8 minutes, but
it doesn't
the way
sound like it.
The way it transitions to different, maybe not tempos, but just different parts. It doesn't sound as long. But later, it's like they just got lazy on the songwriting, and they just want, let's just jam out.
Yeah.
It reminds me more of like Southern rock, where
Mhm.
it just keeps going,
Yeah, like
but doesn't
Leonard
change
Skinner
too much.
or something.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't mean to like shit on all Southern rock, but some of it just it's long, right?
Mhm.
And it just feels long, and it's like tighten up the songwriting. Don't rely on 7 minute songs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they just kind of like just play them for the love of playing, but like as a listener, it's like, come on, man,
Mhm.
tighten these songs up to 4 minutes. Just write
Yeah.
stronger songs.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's all that feels like, and that's most of their albums, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. To me, too, maybe it's just because they're the big dog, right? But it always seems kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say, I don't know how to word this correctly. But they always feel more like they act more superior to everybody. And maybe that's not true.
Definitely Lars.
Yeah.
And he is known to be arrogant and like kind of narcissistic when it comes to the band, which he's a great businessman. Like he did a lot with the merchandising and just getting this band out there and to where they are. You know, he's one of the main songwriters with James, so he's obviously a good songwriter, and he has some degree of like, I can be a little bit of a.
And I mean, I know this sounds dumb to say if you know anything about Dave Mustaine. And maybe it is a little biased where I kind of look down on them because they are the big dog, right? And I like bands that are the better. I was Metallica and all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Megadeth's clearly the better band. Like, not even close. But I don't know. Maybe it's just a bad, like, it reflects poorly on me. It's my view of it, and maybe it's not. But I don't know. I don't think Metallica's all it's cracked up to be. And I think honestly, if you had to, if I was being honest, why they're the bigger of the metal bands. I mean, if you look at a lot of those early albums, they weren't, or of any metal band, they weren't getting big money to record these albums. They weren't getting the best studios. But I feel like Metallica got in early. Like, they were a big hit in the Bay Area. They were like the one band that like the only guy who would take a chance on metal could afford.
Mm-hmm.
And they got better studios and better things. I mean,
and they had more like publicity out there, getting their name out there. Yeah.
And I think, that then since their production quality is better, they sound better than, I mean, you listen to some of those early. I mean, go listen to like the beginning Exciter albums, which was a big. It's rough to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just. I mean, most of the metal albums you hear nowadays are like the remakes, the remasters, not the remakes. But if you go back and you like listen to Kill 'Em All, and go back to listen to like the original.
Killing Is My Business.
Yeah, Killing Is My Business.
Or even what is it? Show No Mercy.
Yeah, they sound poor, and it's no wonder they didn't get any mainstream success. If you sound,
because Kill 'Em All it had a professional studio. It had that sound clear, crisp, and then they had that the studio to back them and promote them and get them out there. Which, not to say that like we both gave Kill 'Em All an S. It definitely deserves it, but they definitely had a leg up over these other bands.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, Megadeth spent most of their money on their first album on drugs.
Yeah.
Like, literally most of it. But they only got $14,000. This isn't the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you can just go buy a MacBook and use GarageBand on your your MacBook to record an album.
Yeah.
Or the guys that record albums on their iPhones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, you had to book out studio time. Like, that's expensive. And it's no wonder, like, some of these early albums sounded bad, but Metallica had to leg up. And, they were playing with, I mean, they were great musicians at the beginning.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. And honestly, Okay. Well, starting the other thing that's terrible about early metal. Most of these guys aren't singers.
No, they're kids. They're kids, and they're just screaming.
They're bad. They're like punk singers that just came into play. James doesn't have that problem. Like he has a more well-rounded voice. I mean, he's definitely a little higher pitched, but
yeah, and you can, and that's like you listen to those early albums, and you're like, they got a singer that fits well into the genre, into the style of music, the way they play and everything, and you can hear his voice grow throughout, and I think he really came into what he like a I don't know, something that sounds like Metallica, you know.
Right. It's the same way like Dave isn't as great as, but he fits Megadeth. Like I couldn't imagine Megadeth with another singer.
Yeah, I could not either.
But I mean, and too, like coming out of the Bay Area where thrash metal was big, this was like an all-star lineup. And I mean, again, they're all great. Dave got the part just off warming up to rehearse the rehearsal. He didn't have to do the whole rehearsal.
Yeah, and they're like, holy shit, man, like you're awesome. You want to be in the band?
Yeah.
Like,
again, they looked up to Cliff. And Lars just happened to own a drum kit, and that's why he got in. And James is an underrated rhythm guitarist. Yeah. Like the pieces are there, but I feel like, man, they just coasted
after Black Album. Yeah.
And I mean, to me, that's kind of why, like, I respect Metallica. And everything they did, and will continue to do, and they do carry the metal torch forward because they're that big of a thing, But they're just not the metal band I'm gonna go on my list to. I like a lot of their songs, and I gave 2 albums S's, so clearly, But I don't listen that much Metallica anymore. I feel like Metallica is just, it's a gateway metal band in a way, right? Like,
yeah, I can agree that they're the metal band
for everybody. They're the everyman's metal band, and it's not bad. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I mean, you end up going to find metal has so many different stupid genres. There's like 1 billion of them, I swear to God.
Yeah.
And there's something for everybody in metal. Unless you don't like metal, then in case there's nothing for you because you don't like metal.
Yeah.
Which is fair too. But I feel like everybody, like they're just a well-rounded band that everybody can get behind, right? And mostly. Your tastes are gonna change, and you're gonna go find other things you like.
And I think the only reason why a lot of people would hate them is because they're so popular.
Right.
I've heard metal purists like, I hate Metallica.
Oh my God.
Because they're the biggest of the 4, and they're trash because they're so mainstream. It's like
metal purists. Metal purists just fuck right off, dude. It's, oh my God. There's no more. I don't know. I don't really follow rap. Maybe rap's is bad, but the elitists in the metal community are like,
just
oh my God,
trash.
You get those death growls. I can understand every word they say perfectly.
Yeah, right.
Don't lie to me, kid. I know you don't know what he's saying, and he doesn't even know what he's saying. I don't know. To me, that's just where I stand. I like Megadeth more. I think they do everything Metallica does, just better. But I respect the path Metallica set for all the other metal bands. I understand why they're so big. But for me, I just other metal bands that I listen to. What do you think?
So Metallica has a special place in my heart because they were the first metal band that I got into, obviously Megadeth is number one for me.
Yeah.
But Metallica, whenever I'm asked the question of like, what is my favorite band, I always say Megadeth and Metallica, like, because I do love Metallica like a lot. I love a lot of their songs. Like, I can just listen to them, and just, I never get tired, but they're the type of band that I only like the hits, and that's what separates them from Megadeth. Yeah, because with Megadeth, I can just listen to every song, even if it's their bad song, and I'm just like, I like this song, But with Metallica, they do have amazing singles and hits,
for sure.
Which is why I love them so much. I mean, I remember one of the first moments I remember of Metallica. I was driving home. I was like 9, probably around there. My dad was taking me home, and we were changing to the radio stations, and Fade to Black came on. And I really didn't know the song before, but we were listening to it, and I was like, man, I really like this song. You know, it was the slower part, so it hadn't gotten to the heavy stuff yet. And my dad was like, yeah, I saw Metallica live when, you know, I was younger, and he was telling me about that. And I was like, oh, that sounds so cool. And then it got into like the heavier part, and I remember talking with him. I was like, man, I really like this, you know, like the drums sound so good, and, you know, I really like the guitars. And, you know, I was a kid at the time,
Right,
but
this is 99.
yeah. And
then he's like, let's check out Low and see if you still like it.
Yeah, right. But I just remember that moment with my dad, and, you know, it's just a fond memory that I have, just listening. One of my first experiences with Metallica, and then he told me who they were. And he had the Master of Puppets CD, and that was my first album by them that I listened to. Mm-hmm. And I listened to the shit out of that album, you know, back then. But I do love Metallica. I don't think I'll ever not love them. So I would give them an A+. Kind of on the cusp of an S because I really like their songs, but I don't like all of their discography, you know.
Yeah.
So
also too, I think that's a little different of like our musical backgrounds. Where you grew up, your dad was into metal and all that, right? Mm-hmm. Like he was a big Metallica fan and mm-hmm. all that stuff. Whereas I grew up with like the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. I grew up with the Beatles and Elton John and the singer-songwriters of the 70s, you know, the Carole Kings and the James Taylor and all this kind of stuff. And I found metal later in life where you found metal earlier. So
yeah, and I think I was really the one that kind of
you were
opened you up into metal.
Big
you know?
Influence into me into metal. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so like a lot of the bands you like, oh, check, you know, Trivia Mouth, cool, check out Bullet, oh, okay.
I remember your hesitation on Bullet, though. Yeah. You're like, man, I don't like that emo shit. I was like, just give it a chance, man. Just give it a chance.
Yeah, because I was huge into Mudvayne
at the time.
Like, oh, man, this is the shit, right? That emo shit? No way. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I love Bullet. But, yeah, I mean, so that's just different musical backgrounds we get to.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe, too, I mean, I'm not saying you don't like good singers, but I think, you know, it comes from where I grew up with. All the music my idols do were all good singers.
Yeah, yeah.
So to me, when I add into like bands, I'm like, I'm looking for a good singer because right, because you remember the things you grew up that you caught in the music that you grew up liking, right?
Yeah, which for me is definitely, you know, instrumentals, like especially guitar, you know.
Right, because that's what metal is. It has some of the world's best musicians playing. Mm-hmm. Whereas what I grew up listening to is more vocal,
singer.
Really.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're both written. Neither is a wrong or right opinion. It's just, I think, just for like clarify for people listening, it's like that's why I think you can see the difference in what we look for in music. Where you know, your first look at is the instruments, how they sound, and mine's like, oh, it's a vocal sound. Is it cake? Okay, well, you know.
Yeah, but like, do they have good lyrics and you know, all that stuff? So,
but no, I mean, again,
do love Metallica.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not my 100% favorite band, but they're like 95%, you know, so whereas Megadeth's like 110.
Yeah, right. I still think, so. You know, like I said, I still put them, if we do Testament of the Big Four, I still put Metallica fourth, but I mean, what a list to be fourth in, huh?
Yeah, for real. That's definitely a hot take right there, you know.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's our opinion.
I like Megadeth more, obviously. Like you said, it's 110%. I like Slayer more. And I like Testament more. Yeah. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're still fourth on like the best thrash metal band,
yeah.
right? Like,
yeah, that's true. It is true.
Oh, sorry, I'm only fourth on the best list of bands of all time on this small guy's opinion over here.
Right? Yeah, I mean, Metallica would, especially Lars, it'd be like, man, you know,
they do that
slappy
scene from Zombieland where, you know, he pats his eyes with
all this
bills.
money. Yeah. Oh, that's definitely, that's Lars in a nutshell. You know, when he sued Napster or whatever for somebody stealing.
I still remember that Facebook with the giveaway they had with the tables that James made. And they were like, just the most generic tables. And all the comments were like, probably the greatest looking tables ever. Oh, it's just, I don't know why. That made me laugh. But I mean, that's what you get when you're the biggest fan, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
But hey, respect to them. They're the OG.
Yeah, definitely. They inspired countless bands. Probably bands that you really like. Or, you know, whoever's listening, if there's a rock or metal band that you like, they probably were inspired by Metallica at some point. So, But all right, well, that's enough about Metallica here. Andy, what do we got next week?
Ooh, I feel like this might be a band you might have a hard time with.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna do Merciful Fate.
Merciful Fate.
Merciful Fate.
Merciful Fate. All right, I only know them because of Metallica.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny like that this happened to be because I do like their cover or their. It's more like a melody, right, of Merciful Fate songs.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 different songs.
it just happens to be funny because I was gonna do this when we did Sabotage, but then I was coming on with the Sabotage. I was like, we should do Sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
And then you having to pick Metallica for next week, and I was like, well, we'll just do Merciful Fate next week.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's gonna be a guy who's gonna be real happy that we're doing Merciful Fate.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
All right, tune in next week for our opinions on Merciful Fate.
Hey man, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Catch you next week. Also, tell all your friends, family, coworkers, random people on the street about this podcast if you like it.